So what's in the rags for Saturday then? Well, we'll start off with the FT. And sadly, it seems that, whether it's true or not, because you can't believe anything you read in the papers, it seems that many Americans are totally brainwashed. Generation X hardcore Apple fans camp out for $1,000 phone. Surely you've got better things to spend your money on than a phone. What does it do? Oh, yeah, you make phone calls with it, just like the one you've got in that's hardwired to the house, maybe. What's up with your old phone? You're that brainwashed you want to throw away $1,000 on a piece of electronics that is basically a phone, just like the last one you had and the previous one and the one before that. But it would seem that you do, if you can believe the papers, which of course you can't. LSE under fire over Ronet's exit. Investors say chief leaving against his wishes. TCI's Horn demands chairman step down. Well, I doubt most of that there. I think he's doing a runner because he knows what's coming. And you've just got to do the tiniest bit of research yourself to see what's coming. Tesla dealers in the hot seat as new car arrives without key components. It would seem everything else is collapsing around us, and yet that someone willing to waste $1,000 on a communication device. Now, over on the left there in white, this is, you almost would miss this. May struggles to contain Westminster sex scandal. Wow, so you mean you've got a load of sexual deviants running the country, and you're on the voters register? Why? You're voting for sexual deviants? And if you don't know the significance of that, it's because it's the... Well, you should know. If you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Here we go, more with the groping. Labour investigates MP groping claim. Party receives official complaint against prominent MP Clive Lewis. Young woman alleges that he gave my bum not my bum, but you know, her bum, a squeeze at Labour conference 6 weeks ago. So the Conservatives are sexual deviants, Labour sexual deviants, Lib Dem, well, the head of Lib Dem is also covered up a lot of child rape. But you've got to do your own research to find it out. The Mirror. You mean there's sexual deviance in sports as well? Well, knock me down with a feather. Top jockey's sex attack on woman rider, even though it was in front of other racing officials, he went and did it anyway because he's used to getting away with it, as they all are, but it's coming out in the papers, which by itself makes you wonder what's really going on here. Something about Brady, they should have flushed him down the loo. Well, that would apply to many MPs as well, many sports top athletes, many film stars, because they're all in it, whether you realise it or not, and that's all going to come out because we are now in the time where the veil is just about off and all that's been hidden before us is about to be revealed. The did Leeson, knife minister to save her job. This is to try and confuse you into thinking that Fallon did nothing wrong. Fallon's done much more than we're led to believe. This touching of a knee 20 years ago, that's just to divert you from what's really coming, and this will be to try and protect him, because they know it's coming out that they're all, every single one of them, have been involved in so much sexual deviance that we won't take it anymore, and we shouldn't. Daily blurb. Fallon's scheme to have Dud Leadsom sacked over Brexit. So you see, we're finding out a little bit more to this story than meets the eye. However, there's much more behind this than also meets the eye. Corbyn, Ali, groped activist at conference. Woo! Labour, Conservatives, all a bunch of sexy deviants. Wow. Now this VAT threshold for small firms harming economy. They know it is. But let's just touch on VAT for a second, shall we? Or as its long name, value added tax. Or now here's a loaf of bread, and it costs you £1. But we're going to put this tax on. It's called value added tax, and that same loaf of bread has now got extra value on it called tax. So it's now £1.20. I hope you all appreciate the value you got from that added tax, or as you should really be up in arms, because that was one of the biggest conniving, sneaky European taxes that was imposed on us. Because many forget about that. Many do forget about the VAT, vermin added tax, as it should be known, and it should be wiped out along with every other tax. UK jihadists are all targets, says RAF chief. You've got to see between the lines here. Anyone that wants tranquility rather than perpetual war, murder of innocent men, women and children is a jihadist in their eyes, a terrorist in their eyes. You're all terrorists in the government's eyes, and you are all enemy combatants. Whether you've done anything or not, you are a terrorist and you are an enemy of the state. They are attempting to murder everyone. And if you don't wake up, you'll only realise when you're in front of a firing squad or one of their free energy weapons that can wipe whole cities out in one go. You'll just drop down dead. But don't worry about it. You know, just carry on, you know, watching Coronation Street or EastEnders and going to McDonald's and eating genetically modified food that is a toxic poison to you. And when we're on food, they're talking about food, how come food, real food that is planted in the ground, gets all its nutrients and minerals and vitamins from the ground, grows without any toxic poisons being sprayed on it, is more expensive than those that's grown in the ground and has toxic poison sprayed all over it, which has to be bought. You have to buy these toxic poisons to spray on the food. Ooh, it's almost like they want you to eat toxic poisonous food and not proper natural homegrown food. But even then, unless it's in a greenhouse, you're going to have the chemtrails landing on it and poisoning it anyway. And of course, if you use tap water, that's filled with toxic chemicals, chlorine, to name but one. It's all poison. We're being poisoned daily. Speaking of daily, Express. Shame on you, Harriet. Labour MP Harman told to apologise after repeating Holocaust joke on TV. Now this is by the Ashkenazi Zionist media, having a go at a woman who wants the age of sex lowering to single figures. But that's not mentioned. No. The scam of the Holocaust is mentioned instead. Wow. You know, it's almost like they want you to look at one thing and not look at the sexual deviance that's going on, of which she's heavily involved. Star. Fragile cow back on X Factor. Does anyone still watch that junk? It's just distraction. Okay, some of them might have a good voice and that, but so what? Why watch something that's distracting you from what the real stuff that's going on? And of course, if they can keep you in that programmed state, you're a perfect little slave. over on the side there. Harman's sick joke, yeah, like I say, the Ashkenazi Zionist media distracting you from the real fact that she is heavily involved in the Parliament sexual abuse scandals that are going on to this very second. Dumped in the sea, it's about, yeah, I've got no sympathy for that. Them sick pair of things. The Guardian. Paralympics champion husband had role in revivals, reclassifying. So even in the Paralympics, this corruption, you know, you just couldn't make it up. But here comes the fear tactic time. Scare time! Scare time! Pretend it's going to cost you. Cost of Brexit, £930 a year on shopping bills. Price of meat, dairy and vegetables to rise if Britain crashes out without a trade deal. Oh, so those cows, and if you're drinking milk, you want to stop immediately. Seriously. What? Cows are forcibly impregnated. The milk is taken from them, and they're on a perpetual cycle. They're abused. The milk's taken, and you've got to realise what a sick society we live in. But apparently, it's going to rise. So all those cows in them fields eating grass, hopefully not eating the toxic poison that they're fed, because everyone's being poisoned, not just us. The animals are being poisoned, dogs, cats, all being poisoned. All that commercial food, it's not even food, it's toxic poison made up to look like food. It's all poisoned. And the vegetables grown in the fields, they're going to cost more because if we leave Brexit with no deal, it's going to cost us all more. Oh, I'll tell you what then. Maybe we shouldn't leave. Maybe we should stay in. You know, because Brexit's fake, a scam, a psyop on you anyway. But you know, you do what you think. You be scared by this absolute utter crap. The Times. A waste of time, actually. The only thing in it is Fallon's sex assault claim. So it's starting to come out that, as I've said many times, there's far more behind this story than meets the eye, and so it looks like it's coming. Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.